is. Tuning in, setting it up. Okay, about 5 minutes, guys. I'll see you guys going live. Some great stuff to cover here. Versus Spike. Two and a half minutes to go. Yeah. Where's the audio? There it is. Make sure the audio is testing clear. I won't be plugging here. Quite a bit to go over. Excellent topics here. Great. Ew. Yeah, here we go. 20 seconds, about to go live. Oh, yes, there it is. That countdown was real. Welcome back, guys. Justin R. Harris here with my YouTube gone live. I noticed that there's quite a bit of echo in here today. This is strange. I have to work on that. I don't know what's up with my audio today. I'm actually sitting here posting my live because right now, just putting it out there, kind of caught me on the live kick. I really don't market this much as I should. So doing that now. It's kind of hard to stay ahead of that. You know, when you're actually out there doing the business, running around, handling deals, having meetings nonstop, walking properties, inspections, negotiations, day after day after day, emails, research, due diligence, things like that. You don't always get the time to play a job in its own, but play in social media. It's a lot of work, right? Doing all the postings, scheduling all that stuff, trying to remain relevant in your pockets, right? Um, Big difference here. Hey, we are wrapping up January as the last weekend of 2022, getting into the end of the beginning already. We just started the end of the beginning of this month as I'm staring out. Um, and it's crazy because where are we now? What has changed? Have you jumped on what it is that you said you were going to do? What did you tell yourself we're going to do? I'm not going to say New Year's resolutions, but damn it, man, get on your grind. You know what I mean? Success means to you. Doesn't have to be monetary, right? Um, Typically, when people hear success, the first thing they think of is the fact of whether or not it has to do with money. And that's not what I'm talking about at all. I'm just talking about success in whatever definition that means to you, right? Um, I got a few topics that I want to get in on today. Um, One is definitely, covering the fact of getting right back to my real estate thing. Has I like to keep you guys abreast of where the market is headed, that the media and everybody likes to put out there, to make you feel all warm and fuzzy, or to put you in a fright state of panic on a decision that you need to make. And it's not about that. It's just about facts, right? Um, and the facts are, all right, the topics that I want to cover. So here are my topics, right? So one, which I've already covered, is where are you now, right? And the things that you want to do. And that's not really a topic. That's just kind of something I wanted to address and get you to check yourself. The other one is home sales. Home sales coming into January significantly dropped. And when I say sales, I mean the pending sales. So a lot of deals, and I'm going to get into detail about what that means and what I'm talking about there, but that's one of the topics. And the percentages that dropped off, I actually have a graph by the National Association of Realtors, NAR. They provide such great detail analysis on what's going on, minus all the nonsense. I really suggest that when you want facts, you go there. And then they have some third parties that they deal with that are pretty credible, um, in providing insight on what it is that you should do when you're focusing on your investments, whether it's, in this case, real estate, right? Because there are others out there, right? So then I want to talk about Florida itself. Florida home sales spiking, and we've hit the top now. And what does that mean for the people here? I'm going to tell you what that means, but I can tell you that it's crazy. It's crazy. And it has a lot to do with those pending deals dropping off in the beginning. And I'm going to tie all that in. And then I'll give you guys some deal analytics on what I've been up to and what I'm projected to do. And it's great. This is what I like. I enjoy it. Yeah, it's income, and I do things that are passive. Last weekend, I showed you guys, my lessons learned and my evolution of day trading, and I love it. The market has been insane, but you guys don't need me to tell you that. I'm sure you're seeing all the red. There's blood in the water, right? I'm not a shorts guy, so for me, that doesn't mean that it's open game to start shorting, just because that's not my thing. I'm not willing to take the risk of playing with margins and so forth. I like what I do. That's my one system. You pick your one thing. Great book by Gary Keller. Do, and you make sure you're good at it. Okay, don't try to be a jack of all trades, or you will be jacked off on that one, right? So, a master of none. So, let's get right into it without further delay. Don't forget, like, subscribe, whatever you got to do on my Facebook and my YouTube. Follow along. Like I said, I'm going to keep dropping these gems on you. I might provide some insight on some deals on stuff. I do have some stuff for sale. If you guys are buyers on here, working on a few liquor store deals. So if anyone's in the liquor industry, that's pretty lucrative. Make sure that you have a solid business model so it doesn't require your active time of working. You want to be an absentee owner when it comes to owning a retail type situation. You don't want to work for your business, right? I have a restaurant, Cuban restaurant, amazing food. I got to tell you, um, if you're interested in that, inquire within. I do have access to some other stuff that's also up for sale, locking in some deals, and I'll get into detail on that stuff. So let's begin. I'm going to tide you guys right on over to the first topic that I wanted to cover here as I scroll with my mighty mouse. Okay, going right over to National Association of Realtors, and bam, there it is here. All right, there's the topic. Pending home sales slide 3.8% in December. Okay. And they kind of dropped the gems on the key highlights here. Contract signings were 3.8% lower in December from the prior month. Contract signings were down across all regions compared to the prior month and 1 year. So month over month and then year over year in that month, right? Existing home sales are expected to decline by 2.8% in 2022, guaranteed, and I can tell you why. And expected to move higher than 5.1 due to the ongoing housing shortage, even as buyers ramp up production. Okay, and you got to understand something. So sellers that have inflated their prices in a stupid way, okay, they're finally realizing they need to bring those numbers down because those pending deals, they fell off. Lenders are not going to give you money for something you think your home should be. They're going to give you the money based on what your home comps for. And if those comps are inflated, that adjuster is going to adjust. That's their job. Okay. So people forget, they let their emotions get into play in their investments. They think their sweat equity is a big deal here. It's not. They wanted to take advantage of the market for whatever reason. That's not going to happen. You're not going to take advantage of these banks. They've already seen that in 2008. Okay, they got their asses handed to them. They were out there writing loans to people that should have never had one. Okay, Fannie Mae had to step in, get bailed out. It was just a debacle. Okay, so let's not do that. Trying to sell your home, taking advantage of the fact that everyone's coming down to your area to buy. Would you do that and expect something different? Stop, right? Those who got away with it, good for them. Great timing, good for you. Keep in mind, that was a cash purchase, right? So that's the problem, right? So if you want to go back and you want to point the finger, because we as human beings, we like to do that. We have to be able to label something, right? We just have to give something a category. And so as a result of giving that category, you want to point the finger at what happened or what's wrong. Well, what's wrong is desperation. Desperation. People came down here. They wanted to get away from where they were. They wanted to continue with their lives. We are always looking for the path of to continue with their lives without the stress of what was going on in upper northern states. Everyone knows. So as a result, there you go, right? So now the rental market is a freaking clown show, right? It's stupid right now. Like the increase in rent, if you are a property owner down here for residential, you are making out like a fat cat right now. I'm talking about it is insane. You're doing great, right? And I suggest that you don't spend all of that. I suggest that you invest accordingly. I don't agree with that strategy. I definitely agree with the fact that you better move that money, pay your taxes, and set yourself up in a way where when it starts to cut back, you're doing great. So if you don't own your property investments so that you have it longer, play the longer game. That's why you took on the multifamily properties, these investment condos and so forth, and house single family homes. That's why you did it, right? So let's keep that in mind. According to Washington, January 27th, today is the 29th. I told you guys I like to get it to you ripe. It's ripe. It's right now. Pending home sales fell in December, denoting 2 straight months of declines. According to the National Association of Realtors, all 4 major U.S. regions posted month over month and year over year drops in contract activity. I'm telling you, it doesn't take rocket scientists. It just takes paying attention. Are you the person that's just going through, even as an agent, if you're an agent and you're out there and you're just going check by check? I'm not saying you're living check by check. I'm saying you're going check by check and you're just trying to sell a property, unaware of what's happening and not paying attention so that you could plan accordingly and make sure that you continue to have income coming in, in real estate and guide your buyers and sellers accordingly. Then you're just floating with the wind. When the wind changes directions, that's what you do. I guess you could do that. A lot of people think it's a glamorous thing, but it doesn't work like that. You need to be smart, and your buyers and sellers will value you more when you show that you have that kind of quality, right? So let's not be that guy or girl. The Pending Home Sales Index, PHSI, which is www.narrealtor.com/pending-homes-sales. A forward-looking indicator of home sales based on contract signings fell 3.8% due to 117.7 in December. Year over year, transactions decreased 6.9%. An index of 100 equal to the level of contract activity in 2001. So what they're doing is they're comparing so that you can kind of have an idea of when sales were great and looking back now and saying, holy crap, what's going on? And I just told you what's going on. I mean, there's no science behind it. It's not, a lunar activity because the moon, you know what I mean? Like, we do it. We do it to ourselves. We either go full-fledged in one direction or full-fledged in the other direction. As a result, there's a back and forth shift. We're rocking the boat. And so you see a change in the economy right now, right? Like what's happening with the stock market. Our financial analysts, they can tell you about that, but it's crazy. I feel like a lot of it has to do with, global news, everything in combination with pandemic nonsense. And every time one virus subsides, another version of it miraculously comes up in conversation. Is anyone noticing that wave? That's crazy. As Delta started to subside, all of a sudden, Omicron was a big deal. Omicron started to subside. Now, all of a sudden, there's a sister version of Omicron. That version is starting to subside. Now they're talking about neo-COVID. I'm like, which is, I guess, a version that's not even contracted in humans yet, unless it goes through one more step of mutation, right? I'm not a scientist, but I read, and I read that already. I read those articles on very legitimate sources. So wait for that conversation to come out. I'm probably the first person talking about that on YouTube right now, but wait for it. It's coming, right? So that's going to be another wave, right? The other big wave is, how CDC dropped the ball and is finally acknowledging natural immunity. How long have I been talking about that? Go through my videos, right? Crazy. Anyway, so even with December slowdown in transactions, Yun says last year was an overall great period for housing in terms of sales and price appreciation, because they said that. Okay, so the reason why they're addressing that is because we were still getting them going. There were still deals going. And I guarantee you, if they were to go deeper into those analytics, those were deals that were closer to reality, right? They were either cash deals or deals that were appraising accordingly because the price was a reasonable price. And so they were able to move forward. I have resources that send me, for sale by owner properties, and I speak to these people and they're like, I don't want to pay a commission to an agent. I don't want to pay to both agents. And I'm like, so you want to sell your property to the other agent who is representing their buyer and is going to obviously do everything in their buyer's favor, not your favor. You're going to represent yourself. And that agent's going to end up doing twice the work, but you're going to pay them for half the job. Okay. And then at the same time, you're underrepresented and you expect to get the top dollar. why would that agent get you the top dollar? Right? So this is what people don't understand. So when you have an agent representing you, that agent is already under the understanding that they're going to have to split their commission because it's typically on average 6 to 5%. So it's 3 on one side, 3 on the other, 2.5 on one side, 2 on the other. That is the traditional breakdown, but that doesn't mean that's what it is. Just because you see it in MLS and it says you for agents, just because you see it in MLS and it says 2.5, doesn't mean that that agent on the other side is getting 2.5. That agent could be getting 2%, right? It could be a 4.5% deal, and they're encouraging the sale to happen, so they're giving you the larger side. Or you could see it say 2%, and that agent's getting 3, and it's a 5% deal, and you're like, oh, what's going on? And it's $1 million property. You think you're doing great till you see their line item on the HUD statement, and your feelings are hurt, right? Sorry, buddy. That's what it is. 2%. Stop crying, right? Commercial is even more fun that way. So shame on you guys for not understanding that, but that's what's happening. That's why, essentially it is decent, right? But that's not exactly what is the incline. It's not an incline. It's actually a decline, but it's a decline and it's not horrible yet. It says it forecasts the 30-year fixed mortgage rate to jump to 3.9 by the fourth quarter. So, and existing home sales to dip by 2.8 to 5.9 million units. We are expecting interest rates to go up, and it's marginal. That's not a real big deal. I think they're going to continue to stay right around that area and fluctuate. Excuse me, simply because this is brought to you by the sponsor. No, I'm just kidding. I thought it was funny. So what's key here that you have to understand is that with these types of these forecasts that are going out, these numbers, they're looking at several things that you're probably not. You probably hear those numbers and you're like, okay, planning to do and this and that. No, there's a lot of things in key. See, they're not getting out the loan production. Okay, so if you think about every business, banks are businesses, right? And I'm sure they're under their number of loans that are written right now. They need to get them out there. But it's hard to write a loan and get that package sold on that loan if you as a seller, a homeowner, can't even put your home in the proper price category to get appraised, to get the home freaking funded. You see the chain of events there, right? The food circle. So these are the problems, and people don't understand. They don't know what's going on. They think it's a guessing game or, whatever they want to associate with what's actually happening. And you can't do that. Let's not guesstimate our way through this process. Let's understand what investments are. Like I said before, real estate, buying a home or anything of a transaction of that magnitude is probably the biggest investment that some people will ever experience, right? So understand it. It's like you have your one body, but you won't pick up a book and understand the health of your body. How many people actually paid attention in health class in high school or just slept through it and couldn't wait to get out? The only time you paid attention is when they talked about sex ed and maybe diet when you guys played around with food a little bit, right? Like, this is the problem right now. So you're not dialing into the things that matter. You're exploiting the things that don't matter. People are more excited about what's happening with some entertainer and what shoes they're coming out with or what makeup line or one of them getting a DUI or who knows, something, somebody's dropping a new album or good for you. It's all marketing. It's all bringing you up to scale so that you prepare to go spend the money that you don't even have, to continue making these people successful at what it is they do. And why are they successful? Because they're successful at getting you to impulsively in their favor, which happens to be monetary. It's taking your time and your money in their direction and lessen how much are they putting in your direction, right? How much are they paying you? So that's how the entrepreneur thinks, right? The business owner, the person that's the investor. They're like, how can I bring this around so that I am going to make an income based off of what I just spent my money on, right? If this isn't supporting the wheel of my income, I'm not doing it. That's the difference, right? If you ever wonder you both put your pants on the same way when you wake up in the morning. The problem is that person puts them on and decides immediately or has already decided what they're going to do in that day. As a matter of fact, you woke up and put your pants on at 8 a.m. They woke up and put their pants on at 4:30 in the morning. See the difference? So it's all about how you use your time and how you work for you, how you leverage everything around you, people, things, money. It's a tool, right? It's all tools, right? The combination, back to the article, the combination of more measured demand and rising supply will bring housing prices better in line with wage growth. Let's not get into wage. Now we're talking about people and their incomes. And in order for there to be an income, you have to take your butt to work. People aren't working. So that's interesting. Those who are working are, and those who aren't don't want to. And they feel underappreciated and things like that. So going further in, December pending home sales regional breakdown. Not getting into that. Let's see if they get stupid here. It's really just a circle. We don't really go into much more on that. I did want to show you the graph that breaks it down, and I thought it was a pretty cool looking graph, and it kind of just like, you can see it there as I scoot out of the way. Look at the northeast section there, 98.2 down 0.2%, 98.2 million, just so you know. 112.8 million sales, down 3.7% in the Midwest, 95 million down in the West, and in the South is 145. Why? Okay, so it's a larger number because everybody was coming split up between those two is probably Texas and Florida. And then a little bit sprinkled everywhere else. But everyone knows that the huge migration, the Great Migration, was headed down actually towards Texas and Florida, and specifically South Florida on the east and west coast of Florida. And that's how that breakdown was going because, it's warmer, it's more freedom, everything's more spread out. And the governor was like, I'm not doing this BS, like, stop. Right? So that's what happened. I'm not saying it's BS. I'm just saying that this was the decision they made. And it's obviously a lot of people agreed. And that's why they moved down here, because they freaking agreed. Right? So like minds think alike. Then we move right along because in Florida, all right, when we had those sales and those deals in the FloridaTrend.com, okay, January 29th, this was just released this morning. Look at that gorgeous house. That looks like a West Coast house. I wonder where they took that picture. A Florida home prices spike. Middle-class residents wonder if they can afford to stay. I told you, this is what's happening. Amid a surge of demand from out-of-state buyers, limited inventory, and booming neighborhood redevelopment, the Sunshine State is quickly becoming one of the least affordable places to live in the United States. I told you. So you look at it, from the ridiculous rental rates to the ridiculous home prices, it's like people are letting greed jump in. And when you raise those prices, then people start slowing down to come here. Like, if you want to keep them coming, our numbers are already great. You're already going to make good money. If your price went up, it's because you paid too much when you decide, you know what, as much as I do owe more, but I'm trying to capitalize on this situation, I really should not sell yet because I haven't paid down enough into my home in the first place. Because why? Take advantage of the chance to get out and you think your equity has gone up. because everyone else is raising their prices too. But then you find out the reality of the fact that you can't turn around and buy a home now. And now you're a renter because you are priced out of the market because everyone else ridiculous, right? So the Sunshine State, yes, boop, 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 and that is straining new home buyers and renters. I didn't even read this article yet. I just want you to know I set pointers and I found these topics. So I'm literally reading this to you as it is fresh. I was unprepared. It's because I knew where the sources were. I like to read it right when it's happening. I'm live on here reading it to you live. It is exactly 11:28 a.m. And so my reaction is legitimate. So you understand that when I'm reading it to you and I'm telling you what's going on, you know that the information I'm giving you is factual. I don't like to BS people because I don't want to be BS'd. And I'm using the word BS because it works with BS. All right. Over the past 6 months, Florida's home prices have risen faster than those of any other state, according to the Washington Post. Great. Analysis of Zillow data. That I cringe every time I hear Zillow. I don't hate you guys. I'm not defamation of character, anything like that of your company or anything like that. It's just that you guys have been crapping the bed for a while and trying to do with your goal of controlling the market. And I get it so that you guys can do what you do. But as a result, you have single-handedly created a lot of bad sellers, if you will, because of the Zestimates and these different things where people are trying to do it on their own and you're trying to be the middleman or the broker, if you will. And I get it. It's business and, you're trying to capitalize on a situation, but you actually created a problem that you haven't solved yet. So as housing markets elsewhere have cooled, home prices in Florida have shot up the national ranking. I showed you that. I showed you 125 million in drop. And that's not to mention the number that it actually, so that's our drop. Imagine what our actual number is. It's crazy. Everyone's coming down here. There's a mass exodus from other states to get here. I see it going on non-stop, right? So what does that mean? What am I telling you? What I'm telling you is you realtors out there that are out there investing, you investors out there that are out there flipping properties or buying and holding and taking on tenants, whatever your goal is, let's be smart for a second, okay? There are properties and these owners that are controlling the flow of the day-to-day person who buys homes, right? I'd say the day-to-day. Because owners, then there are multi-billion and trillion-dollar corporation owners, right? So you got, let's say, 5 major corporations. I'm just saying, but you have 500 million homeowners, right? So putting that into comparison, if you will, this number, this 500 million, these are just numbers I'm throwing out of the air just to kind of give you an example of the mindset you need to have. Is how you put it together, there's more of them than there are of them, right? So the way these numbers move on these homes greatly affect income, cost of living, and so forth. So if the sale and purchases of these homes are not marginalized accordingly, then you create inflation in the individual cities and markets that could have been avoided. Does that make sense? I'm really picking apart. So you either understand what I'm saying or I just lost you and you're in the rowboat back there trying to keep up with the ship. I'm telling you, it's common sense, right? So in your local economies, in your cities, okay, in your counties, your parish, wherever you are in whatever state, all the way up to the United States, okay, you have to understand something, right? We control this, and it's not some mystical power. It's home by home, person by person, investor by investor. And if we get stupid in asking for numbers, then the numbers that should be because we want to take advantage of a situation. Then we create a separation in classes probably faster than it should happen, because one thing that is inevitable is there's always a cost of living increase. Why? Because there are more people, so there is more of a demand for product. So then product becomes more scarce, right? Supply and demand. So product becomes scarce, therefore value goes up on that product, and then there goes the circle, right? So to some degree, you can't change that. You can moderate it. It could be a little smartly done, but as long as we're human beings, and I'm not saying don't be a human being, but as long as we are human beings and we are doing that, then we really, I'm just playing around with the monitor here. I just got so sidetracked. Squirrel. Oh, so we really screw ourselves in that manner, because we are either making out on a really great deal, but then when you make out on that really great deal, then you screw yourself in the end, right? So we got to make better decisions when it comes to that. And so I also wanted to get down. So at the bottom of this article here, they said something was also trending, and I was like, yes, because it's true. It is true. And right here it says South Florida counties among the hottest commercial markets in the U.S. They're also less affordable to live in. So yeah, it's true. But commercial real estate is booming. Business is booming. Let me tell you, I'm working some great deals right now. I'm probably projected to make about 60 grand by the end of February, based on deals that I'm working between this month and next month, right? Some people might make that for the year. That's not how I get down, right? So let's see what it says. Miami-Dade County tied with 6 other markets with populations over 250,000 for having the strongest commercial real estate market conditions in the nation. I'll tell you why that happened. There's a lot of property down there that's hot and ready, needs renovating and so forth. A lot of old stuff, right? A lot of land out there to develop, going west over by Doral, if anyone's familiar with those areas over there. It's receiving the nickname Little Venezuela. It's funny. But go down there and have a great arepa, by the way. Let me tell you, it's delicious. So, yes, okay. This is true what's happening right now. I can tell you that in the beginning of all of this, I had a lot of people looking for warehouses, and they were shopping down there, and almost every one that I would find that was ready to go was pending a contract. And then, you have your overthinkers and investors that missed the boat because they wanted to think about the deal longer than making the deal. You can think about the deal during your due diligence. Stop being student deal, prove you can buy the deal, okay, that you can do the deal. Let's do our due diligence, where you are going to find out if the deal is legitimate and has the liquidity that you expect, right? Overthinkers, man, I tell you, the smart people, they get in, they get out, they made their money, they're on to the. Luckily, I was able to save him and get him back into another deal because I am a good agent. That's what good agents do. As a matter of fact, I'm so damn good. I'm cocky about it because I know I'm freaking that good, is because I actually put together an amazing 10-year plan that shows him that not only after he makes this acquisition, I will take his 6.4% cap to a 7.1% cap by a year and a half after his purchase. Now, that's not huge, but that's the year and a half. By time he hits his 10-year margin, he will be a 10 cap. He will be able to turn around and sell his property for about 195% above profit. So huge, right? He will make his money back by year 5. By year 10, he will have and turn around and sold his property. He will have doubled by that time. I'm not looking at years. I'm thinking about it. as I broke it down. But I created ways I was able to adjust cam and things like that, and the percent increases according to the market in that area of that plaza, so that he could make the best out of it and still not stress out his tenants. And that's the way it's done. That's smart, right? And then I will, at that point, take it and tie it in with his financial analyst, who his accountant, whoever he in with amortization, reverse amortization of, or depreciation of some other items, so that he's able to reflect that in his taxes and pay a little less. So just knowing how to use the numbers is what makes you a great tool and resource to your investors. If you're not doing that and you're just telling them, oh, this is a great number, this is a great price, it makes this much a year, and et cetera, and you walk away from it and that's it, then you're not a better value to your investor. Okay? You got to sit down, you got to have that conversation, you have to move forward. Because if your goal isn't to be able to do this for yourself at some point in time, then why are you doing this? So you just like doing sales? Then okay. But are you doing this because you also want to be financially well off? Then you need to be a little smarter about what it is that you're doing. I do want to continue reading this. Miami-Dade tied with Census Metro divisions covering Tampa and Fort Myers in Florida with the highest index score of 76. The study considered criteria such as job growth, employment, salary growth, inventory absorption, and low vacancy for rent increases in apartments, offices, retail, and industrial. Also scoring 76: Charleston, South Carolina; Durham, North Carolina; Kennewick, Richland, Washington; and Nashville, Tennessee. That's great. Those are great statistics here, talking about that kind of stuff. And really breaking down how this all works when it comes to money. Those are my latest updates. I probably lost some of you because they're like, this is dry. And then there's those that are like, damn, Justin just dropped some freaking knowledge. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, he's got great insight. Listen, this is what I do. All right, so you're going to do things based on, how they make you feel, whether it's videos you watch, songs you listen to, books you read, whatever it is that you're going to do, right? I'm a huge reader. I haven't bought a book in a while. I had no money. I would still order a book just because I needed to get another book. Anyway, read more, read. So I have to tell you that is what is going to set you apart. When I watch other YouTube videos about other people that update of information in, I need to hear maybe a change. I need to hear someone else's voice and point of view on a topic, because you can receive information from someone and it could be the most gold diamond valued freaking information you could ever hear in your life. To hear it, it's over your head. And then you'll have that day where your mind is like a sponge. Man, you could sit there and stare into space and freaking solve the equations of the freaking galaxy. You're just so in tune with everything, right? So how do you know when that happens if you're not constantly trying to find out when it happens? And the way that happens is by listening to different people. There might be one or two golden nuggets that I might have said that would have sparked a fire in your mind somewhere and put you on a path that is unstoppable, right? I could have said something that put you in check and made you realize, damn, I'm screwing up my focus. Or something that's like, wow, you know what? I didn't even think about that. Or maybe you're just listening because I'm a cool dude and you just want to see what the hell I'm going to say today, right? But the point is that you actually pay attention and you use your resources. You have this thing, this nifty little thing that, what are people paying now? Like $1,200 for this freaking thing? right? It's just insane for these. Um, as I'm reading my text. So you have access to the entire world. Yet you, and I'm saying this generalized, right? Yet you use this cell phone to look at social media, take selfies. You love the camera. You follow, I don't know, whoever you follow on any of these social media platforms, and that's it. But this thing has the ability to provide information and teach you. You could literally do online classes and get a degree on a damn cell phone. How profound is that? Just think about that. Thing that doesn't require practical application where you have to show up through your cell phone because it's a computer, right? You can do PDF documents. They have an app for everything. You can edit PDF. You can do Word documents. You can do Excel documents. You know, if you're really good, you know how to do all of that without even paying for an app because there's different sources that allow you to do it with different things, right? You just find the right app that lets you do it for free and you just do it. So I'm just dropping that information out there for you because not everybody thinks like that. I took you on a update with real estate and investments and so forth, and I love doing that. And I just feel like I had to say this right here, right now, because people aren't thinking, you know, and as we're getting further and further apart from each other, it looks like the more technology increases, the further people are separating, right? Now, it looks today like, I mean, come on, we're at the brink of going to war in other countries right now. Who knows where that's going? We got, you know, as technology increases and people can communicate faster within seconds, we're starting to really see through the BS that is happening on a political scale, on a government, on a financial scale, as far as the world is concerned, with banking and money, and who knows what the hell is tanking down with freaking cryptocurrency right now and that whole debacle, right? So these are the things you got to think about. And it's like, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit there and watch the world go by? Or are you going to freaking make a decision and be smart and use the sources that are around you? So that's what I wanted to say. Thank you guys for tuning in. I love it. I am working on my schedule. I want to drop on Wednesdays. I got to tell you, I'm busy, right? When you guys don't hear from me, I'm finally able to adjust and drop some info on a Saturday. I probably won't have that many Saturdays, and I may have to adjust to Sundays. And I'd hate to leave you guys hanging like that because I'd like to stay, you know, continuous with when I'm dropping this info. And bringing you guys up to date, but it's difficult because I'm out there making money. I'm not playing social media. Now, I'm not saying YouTube doesn't make money, you know, and doesn't do what it does, but I'm not on here for that. I do this because not only does it help me keep myself in tune with focusing on my different deals that I'm working on as I express them to you, but it keeps me and forces me to stay in check with the market and delivering that information to you guys. So it's like an accountability thing, right? And each one teach one kind of thing. And I follow those people that do kind of the same thing, like-minded individuals. Thank you guys so much for watching, tuning in. You're watching me as I'm growing my beard back, and I'm going to cut it again. It's just what I do. You know, what you like, and I mean like, subscribe, click the bell so you get the alerts on when I'm dropping. So you see that little 5-minute countdown when you know I'm getting ready to go live, because that's my clue that I'm going live. Is bam, is he's going in 5 minutes. I want to see what Justin's going to drop the jewel on today. And that's it. Like on my Facebook, follow, right? That's what it's called on Facebook. You have to follow. And I'll see you guys again. I'm going to get back on my grind. I got stuff I got to research today.